And we're live.
Excellent. Well, good evening, and welcome once again, everybody, to Snog Beep Dungeons Incorporated. Once again, I'm Tim, playing Dev for our Dresden Files RPG campaign, Big Trouble in the Big Easy. We also have Tyler on Romain LeBeau. Above me is Colin, playing Austin Cash, and as always, our illustrious GM, Kyle. Before we get too far into things, I do want to say those of you who are watching and have not followed the Twitch stream yet, please do. We are so very close to 50 followers. It's a big benchmark for us. It'll get us affiliate status with Twitch, and yeah, it'll help us do this better for you. So please, if you haven't yet, hit the follow button. It's pretty easy. Here on Twitch, if you are watching on YouTube after this goes up there, it is twitch.tv/endar42, ENDAR42. And just again, the more support we get from y'all, the more we can give back to y'all. So
you can also follow on YouTube, but it is not as helpful in the same way.
Yes, it is helpful, but differently helpful.
Yes. All right, so unless there's any more business, we'll get to what you guys have been doing for the last month in the game. We're going to start with Dev.
Nothing too crazy going on recently. Making sure everything is square up with Hank as far as getting these kids out of their legal troubles.
Right. Good stuff there.
Yep.
Hi,
Just
Coco.
continuing.
Sorry.
You missed it.
Slow on the uptake there.
Yeah,
I was going through my notes and then I looked over. Coco was there.
Okay. Have you found any new favorite places to hang out while you're, since you're kind of new to town? New favorite places to hang out? You've been here a couple months now.
I mean, I'm not really new to town. I've lived here most of my life.
Okay, I missed something. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
My mistake. All right, let's go to the actual transplant. Austin. Cash.
What's up?
What have you been doing in the past month since you guys killed two Blackboard vampires? Blew up the swamp.
Yeah, blew up the swamp. That's a good question. Probably been working on my spider climb stuff. Trying to find out more information like of the Black Court and of the White Court and like where those people reside. Seeing if I could find anything of like the White Court vampires even, so I can like start getting information about who might have actually been the people that killed my mother.
Oh, yeah, you would have had easy access to the White Court vampires. Like, if you start looking around and you know who to talk to, especially your mysterious benefactor, you could get access to White Court vampire spaces. Have you already tried to start entering and seeing who's around?
If you want to do that on screen, then yes. No, then if not, then yes.
I mean, it's not necessarily important. It just might be fun to do it on screen.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll go ahead and argue that you have the address, a door to knock on, and a password. The classics.
You've got the contact info, but you haven't contacted yet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I have that. And do we want to do this now, or do you want to be saving this? I don't know what we're trying to get done today, but I know you're trying to get into the woods.
Well, pardon me. You guys will have time to do a bunch of stuff, and we can always stall until next week.
Well, what we can do is usually what we do is meet with our benefactors post game. I could do that instead of going to the spider.
Oh, it's an option too.
Yep.
So let's do that.
All right, cool.
Let's have that happen.
And before we go with what's been going on with Romain for the last month, we're going to go ahead and talk about what's been going on with the city. So there has been some substantial fallout. The swamps have started to dry up. They're kind of trying to figure out some kind of weird ecological disaster, but essentially, it is as though we've hit a heat spell. The swamps have started, and it's just as hot as it's ever been. The swamps are drying up, and that is causing some kind of havoc with ecological functions inside of the swamp. Mystically aligned people and people who have magical spiders who talk to them are
Right.
aware of the fact that there have been a whole bunch of stuff, both having to do with the Never Never side of things, having to deal with the regular biological creatures in the area, and how that's affecting the food chain. Basically, the swamps are a lot more lawless than usual. Even the animal kingdom is operating strangely. So the swamps are extra mysterious, extra dangerous, and pretty rough. And it's been about a month. A few rains have come by, and the swamps still won't like get back to their nice swampy state. They're still, this dead swampland. So, with that in mind, Romain, you have been receiving dreams. Most of them are about a looming presence, being followed, being chased, all of these things. The most stark of these dreams came last night. You're being chased by a skeleton. It's very obvious. He's stronger, faster, impervious to damage. He's ripped off his skin. He's been set on fire, and you're crawling through a factory floor somewhere. In the very end of it, you are sitting there, wedged inside of this. It would have been like an industrial press, large enough for a human, and this large, invulnerable skeleton to crawl through with you. The skeleton's lost its legs, crawling through by just its arm and its torso, and its eyes shining red because they're evil, of course. You finally escape, dive out of this mashing machine, hit the button, crush the skeleton. Finally, it's dead. It's over. You see the lights go out in its eyes. An arm falls to the ground. And at the very end of this dream, you think everything's fine. Credits fade, everything's going back to normal. And then you just see that the hand, it does this.
I just see mental image just like the scrolling credits start, written and directed by Romain Lebeau, and then just grabs the words and crushes them.
Yeah. So that's the cinematic side of you. You saw that all in comic book form. Letting you know that this may be a little bit more of a wizard thing than just a spooky dream. That's what's been going on with you for the past month. That and trying not to be the guy, like being known as the guy who destroyed the swamp.
Well, no one's been able to link the bomb to me.
Correct.
It wasn't a bomb.
There was no bomb. They're not aware of what's been going on. It seems as though some people are trying to call it a solar flare, but they haven't been seeing the right kind of readings for that kind of stuff. There's been a whole lot of weird crap going on the internet. Like, people have lost their minds, especially due to the fact that there was a huge EMP-style blast and, like, a surrounding, like, I don't know, some kind of crazy square footage of computers, internet, electronic machines in general, all just shut off immediately. Some of them destroyed as they got closer to the blast site. Some of them turning on later. Some of them just having their memories wiped entirely.
Yep.
You did choose Fallout, by the way.
I did choose Fallout.
Yes.
I didn't even try to control it. Every single bit of that went to Fallout. Almost 100 points of Fallout.
I should have it be known that this was a pretty huge thing. New aspects exist for the city. They are extra wild for the swamps. Heightened tensions for the city because this is seeming crazy. No one understands what's going on. The government won't give anyone any information. And it seems that the further you poke into this, the better the cover-up is. So the conspiracy theorist nuts are all crazy right now. And this would be a great time for you to meet any of them and see who exactly has got a face of these organizations. And lastly, the White Council has been poking their noses around town again. This is about time for your review, if you remember.
Yes, I would have been spending this past month working to get some character references. Bless you, Tim.
Thank
Who are your
Specifically,
character references?
sorry.
Oh no, who are your character references?
I was gonna say
NPCs.
Specifically, calling upon Dev and Austin and Victor, as well as hold on, looking through some notes here.
I don't have that many NPCs. I'm not that good.
I'm trying to think. Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. I only gave you like 4 or 5.
As well as Sean and Gwen.
Okay.
And if, like last ditch effort, the guy that hired me that originally gave me the Good Necromancer name.
Aww. What was his name? Robert Palmer, I think.
I remember
It can't have been that online.
writing it down, but I might have erased it, thinking I would never, work with him again.
It's probably not relevant, but we'll give him that name. He's an old guy. Old guy, you fixed the haunting for him. You are the Good Necromancer, as far as anyone's concerned. And as long as you can figure that you can do it, without breaking the laws, there's a good argument there. So, it is the day of. Sorry, let's go ahead and give you the day before the trial. Frank Allen. Okay, so it's even more on the nose. This is Barry Allen's father's name. Anyone who's not aware of the Flash comic books, that was for me.
That was for me.
Anyway, so this is going to be the day before the trial, as it is called. So we'll see how you guys are finishing up your last day of preparations.
Right. So I'm assuming everyone I called answered.
Victor could not come to the line, unfortunately.
Okay. Given that I gave him a span of a month, would he have written a letter or something upon request?
That depends. Would Victor have written a letter?
Yeah, probably. I don't know how helpful it's going to be, but
then you are in possession of one letter of recommendation.
Yes.
From Victor. All right. Sean is willing to reread his initial reports on the scenes, as wardens always have their reports. He has clarified he will not testify any new information. It will be just strictly what was on his reports when they were turned in.
Okay. Also,
Gwen is willing to speak for you. She has warned you not to ask for help, though, because it will not be all that great. But she's willing to go to bat for you.
Okay.
Oh no, she's willing to go to bat for you. It's just, it's not like she's got anything she's gonna be bringing to wait here with her name.
She's not gonna stick her name out on the line, like stick her neck out.
Well, she's not an ace in the hole or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
she'll back you up, but her relationship with the White Council is okay at best.
So, this is a question for the group out of character. I still have that spider pin from Anansi. I still have that favor from Anansi. Do you think that might be worth calling in here? If things go really, really poorly?
I'd love
It depends if you ever think you're going to use it any other time. I mean, so far you haven't really touched it. It hasn't seemed the need that you've needed to touch it, honestly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I've gained quite a bit of favor with the Nazi as it is, so...
Yeah, you have. I haven't touched that spider bastard since...
Since he touched you.
His little spider paws.
I don't think he ever touched me with his spider paws, but...
Maybe. Who knows?
I definitely made sure to keep my distance. It doesn't mean he didn't touch me. It just means he had to work a little extra hard.
I mean, how could you know? All that time spent with the giant spider, at some point, maybe. Like, you probably forgot about it. His spider paws touched you at least once or twice. I think it's great because Dev probably still hasn't met the giant spider.
Oh,
hell
he will
not do it. Because he will not
no.
go through it. That's my favorite part about all this is Dev's like, no, Yeah, this is you guys are all like crazy, but
I'm smarter than that.
I'm not gonna talk to that giant fucking spider.
I mean,
All right.
since our first meeting with him, I have not been in the same room with Anansi, at least as far as I'm aware.
All right. So, what do you guys think? Call in the spider favor?
I think it's a good choice. Personally.
You would.
Of
you
course
would.
you do.
Well, I mean, what are you ever going to use this favor for again? You want to get out of this trouble. So you did blow up a swamp.
That is fair. What I was thinking was kind of holding on to it until I needed it, and like so. Do you think if this goes poorly, do you think that might be able to get me out? Is the question.
Well, he's known for one thing, and it's telling a story and talking well.
That is fair. I feel like he might be.
He's known for one thing, and I
decent
named
lawyer.
two things, and they're both correct. It's all
He's known for one thing, and it's two things.
All right,
Here's my
well,
list of three things.
Our chief weapon is surprise. Surprise and fear. Oh wait. Our two chief weapons.
all right. So
all I'm
I'll
saying is,
keep
if you
it-
ever played like a Legend of Zelda game, and you're like, man, this potion seems really cool. I should hold it until I really need it, and then you never use it. It's like, oh, the credits are rolling. Remember that potion that was really cool and that I never used? Yeah, that's what's gonna happen to this token if you don't use it now.
Yeah.
I feel.
I'll keep it in my back pocket, and if things start going south, I'll call on him.
Okay, this is gonna be fun. I'm excited. All right. So any refusals from Dev and Austin to be part of the team?
God no.
No refusal there.
Nope.
None on my part. I don't really know what I can do, considering
I mean,
Austin's really gonna
I
do
was
some intense
I was told
scrutiny on this other magic user.
yeah,
I was
it's
told
like,
Like,
get
wait a minute,
together
hold
a
on.
list of character references. As people who have been through thick and thin with, especially Austin and Victor, and to a lesser extent Dev, I think those might be some of the best character references out there.
say what think have we been through? We found Johnny and ran
Right.
from vampires.
Ran from vampires.
Yeah.
Nothing brings
There
you
you go.
quite as close like a near-death experience.
Wait, is the thick or the thin supposed to be the good part? Like it's thick or thin, right?
Yeah,
Is
I
it,
think
I think it's the thin. I think it's the thin.
I thought it was
thin
the
is the
thick
bad
was the
part?
good
Okay.
was the bad part.
Okay. Well, it's been incredibly thin with you guys the whole time, so or thick, depending on your personal reading of the metaphor. Devil's in the details, really. Yeah.
Here we are.
We
made
made
it
a box
back.
that for the rest of the time. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our last day of preparation in. We're gonna go ahead and start first thing in the morning with the guy in trouble. That's you, Romain.
It is believed that it relates to entering a dark forest. In some places, the trees are thick and overgrown, where in other places it is sparse and easy to navigate. Thus,
Oh.
the thick would be the
The thick's the rough
Haunted
part.
And
Okay.
now we have earned our educational tag for the day.
Educational stream. That's what we are.
That's true. I've learned a lot so far.
like how to use the phrase "the devil's in the details."
I'm not entirely sure
Yeah.
he's learned how to do that one yet.
Hey, the
I
devil's
think
in
we
the
just
details on
confused
this
the
podcast.
audience.
I didn't say he's learned how to use it correctly. He's just learned
say
how
it.
to use it.
Okay, he's learned the words. Gotcha.
I've used it correctly all of one time, and I'm pretty proud of that. That's all I gotta say.
But if I gave you the lineup of the phrases in a row, you wouldn't be able to pick out the right one, the one that actually won.
I think I could. I think if you did that, I could probably pick out the right use
I
of
think
devil's
it's
in the
I think a
details.
multiple choice he'd be fine with. It's
Yeah,
just
like
this,
a multiple
this
choice test
open-ended
answer.
shit.
I got this.
Yeah.
Anyhow, the condemned
Anyway, sorry,
I-
condemned man, dead man walking here. Well, we froze stuff to the gallows humor.
All right. I wake up a little jittery. It is the big day after all. You can't see, but I'm shaking my hands right now. Shaking my hands, a little jittery.
A lot of coffee.
Get up, brush my teeth,
Steady as a rock.
head it.
Shoot with this hand.
Head on down to neutral grounds for my potentially last cup of steaming hot coffee.
Comes out as usual, as you've gotten it every day this month. order ready by the time you walk in. They recognize you from your look. The Good Necromancer of New Orleans, written on your cuff, as always. Your reputation precedes you. And hey,
again,
you don't have to pay.
Again, I look at the cup. I go. Again, it's not.
It's on the
never
house,
mind.
as always.
I really want them to call him Gino, the GNNO, Gino.
Did you know?
No,
I actually
Gino.
know someone named Gino.
Yeah.
Gino. Okay, it's gonna be great. But and copy as gratis as always. Thank you for all the good work you do.
I take the money that I would have paid and put it in the tip jar. Same as usual.
Winning you a smile of adoration from the guy who gave you the free drink in the first place. He's gained fans.
All right. I would say I'd leave a link for my OnlyFans, but I don't think that's been.
It won't be around for a little bit. You have some time.
Build that fan base.
Then I head across to the to Magic Inc. and start what could be my last shift.
Magic Inc. is packed with more people than usual. Word has gotten around that this is where you do your work, and plenty of people have found a good excuse to find even the smallest of reasons, even the tiniest of tattoos, on their wrist, on their arm, just so they can ask you a couple questions. Just in general, how free flowing are you with all of this magic stuff? If someone asks you some point blank questions,
It would depend on the question. I don't usually go into details, but I kind of give like the side wink to people.
All right, and finally, this means that Gwen has been a little bit less up in the front, more staying in the back of the room, letting your natural charisma take over. For whatever reason, if you're going to roll me an empathy check, you can figure out what it might be.
Okie dokie. Empathy +2.
Break out that first roll of the game.
First roll of the game, 20 minutes. No.
Oh, I put it in general. I'm a dummy. I didn't even put it in our general. I put it in the Snog
No,
Beast
you
general.
did.
There we go.
Always look where you're typing, boys and girls. That's a 3. 3 on the empathy.
Okay. You know that she is a little bit jealous of the fame. This is not set right with her. You are an employee, and if there was going to be a risk on everyone figuring out that something magical going on inside of her shop, it was supposed to be because of her. But she'll get over it.
Probably.
Okay. Your final day of work.
Having realized this, I would try to include her more. Like this is the lady that's taught me almost everything I know, kind of deal.
That gives you a death glare from her at least once. These things
specifically,
are
I'm talking about
tattoo
artistry, but they don't know that.
That is true. That is just good enough for her to let it slide. All right, so she's back out on the floor in the last couple recent days, so she is out here with you, helping you out as you guys are working on your last few days. Your last personal day on Earth, possibly. So your day finally comes to a close. You've received a few more jobs than you usually would have. You've received a good amount of practice since everyone's come visit you and get their work done by you. And you kind of have been able to charge a bit of a decent commission and have been promoted to lead tattoo boy. Is the direct words that Gwen says, by the way.
Lead
tattoo boy is your official job title as per Gwen. Just so you're aware.
Come on, Gwen. I couldn't have at least been an ass man. Like,
as much as I want to, I already have 2 ass men, and it's just not going to work.
Wait a second. There's only 3 of us that work here.
I really didn't want you to figure it out that way. Well, Are you ready?
I guess as ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. Let's get this started. She goes ahead and closes down the shop, just switching the sign around to closed, kicking out all the other people who are around. The crowd of people who kind of watches the shop as it closes down has grown in the recent month or so. Now it's just a small crowd of people who kind of watches the shop closes down, trying to catch a little extra glimpse of the good necromancer trying to go on his way home. It's been about an hour after that part, and the crowd starts to disperse. The witching hour is upon us, and you see 3 figures headed your direction. Well, there's 5, but the first ones we're going to cover are the wizards. The wizards of the White Council are going to include Donald Morgan, Anastasia Lucio, and Sean McClue. McClue. They all enter the shop. Sean giving his great aunt a wave and a smile. Donald Morgan and Anastasia Lucio giving a respectful nod. This isn't exactly a court of neutral territory, but this is New Orleans. There is no such thing as that.
I will say, I almost forgot somebody. I almost forgot Father Shenanigans.
Father Shenanigans would definitely come if you want him to come.
Yeah, I would have reached out to him, yes.
He will be honest, though.
As I would expect a man of the cloth like himself to be.
Yeah.
Okay. This is going to be great. Coming along with this
Says the
are several witnesses. Says the DM line. Yeah, okay. Okay, the trial is going to begin. It's going to be very simple. What we are going to do is a series of different social checks and mental checks. Obviously, no attacking, no magic that is detectable. If you get caught using magic, you'll probably be straight up killed. For everyone who's not aware of the standard methods of things, this is the most lenient trial of a supposed necromancer in White Council history. And it is a test.
And probably future.
And probably the future, because this is a test on the system at large. So we're going to see exactly how well a trial goes down, and if we let go some dangerous, terrible necromancer. This is actually the opening speech by Anastasia Lucio, translated by me from Italian.
Wouldn't it be Latin, though?
It would have been, but there's mixed company.
Okay.
Okay. So this is so obviously Anastasia Lucio is not a big fan of this idea. Donald Morgan gets up and gives a very different speech. Donald Morgan is preaching of change. Something has gone wrong recently. Yes, Donald Morgan of all people. Everyone who's aware of the book series should realize this is a huge turn. Donald Morgan had been charged to a task that he has failed greatly. He was supposed to protect a young boy and lead him in the proper ways of magic. Make sure that he becomes a savior. And instead, he failed him entirely. And he died, trying to do the right thing, because we pushed him too hard. So I submit that there needs to be a change in the process. And we will use these human court methods. I will act as bailiff, Anastasia Lucio as judge, wardens as jurors, and witnesses as also testimony people. There's a better word for that. I didn't. Donald used the right one. He always would. All right. So the trial begins. So first witness up. First witness called is going to be Sean McClue. You are the defendant, which means I think you go second. I'm not actually sure about that because I don't know anything about court.
Yes, that is the case.
So first things first that comes up. Sean McClue goes over the events of the first time he met you, fighting off the Black Court vampires Anthony and James. Doesn't give them any fun nicknames because this is an official report. unfortunately. Anthony and James were two Black Court vampires that were building a coven, it seems like, inside of a church. From what we understand inside of this information, they had to relocate into the swamps. We have come to believe that these vampires have been operating for a very long time. They prefer a skeletal appearance for reasons unknown.
Preferred.
All right.
I mean, that was an in-character call out. Just
Character call out. There we go. And as things continue moving forward, it is put out that you did not, under the observation of Sean, do any form of necromancy. In fact, they've given you a test, and it would be pretty impossible for you to perform any evocation level necromancy. The best you could do is rituals that pretty much any human could do. Far too incompetent for something like this. Oh, all right, it's Sean, so it's much more like this. He is far too incompetent to be a necromancer at all.
Thanks.
Romain really wants to say something here, but
It is your witness.
yes. So I'm asking the questions.
Yes.
I
yeah.
don't have a defendant or a defender.
You
No,
are.
Yeah, no one would take the case.
Defender.
Okay. I am the
Defending
defender.
yourself.
I am representing myself. Fun times. All right. So, Sean, in your professional opinion as a warden of the White Council, I am not a necromancer.
I said you did not do any necromancy, nor was I sure you could do any sort of necromancy. You could always be a liar.
Sean, have I ever lied to you?
Well, how would I know?
You're right. You are kind of dense. That was said under my breath. If he cares to hear it, he can. But
The stenographer takes it down.
stenographer, you've got good ears.
The best in the biz. Sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Moving on. No more amazing stenographers. Okay.
Oh no. We can keep her being amazing. I just mental note of that.
Just assuming the stenographer's a her? Really, Tyler?
That is
Sorry.
really unfortunately.
Sorry, my bad. In my mind, I imagined it being a her. Is it a him or a her?
I don't know. It's a, you know what? Just so you're wrong, it's a him. It's
All right.
it's a young wizard named Peabody.
Gotcha. So, all right. Well, let's back up. If you said I have shown no inclination towards evocation, I could only do these rituals. If these rituals were performed, what kind of evidence would there be, either on the city itself or on my person, of performing said rituals?
Well, if you were committing necromantic acts, it should be as easy as opening up one of our sites and looking upon you, which I believe Donald Morgan has done.
In fact, he has. And to the wizards of the court, would it be wizards and witches, or are we all wizards? Or sorry, are you all wizards?
We're all wizards.
Okay. Wizards and gentle bodies of the court. I ask you now, if you are so inclined, look upon me with your sight. You will see no trace of necromancy upon my aura.
Question.
Yes.
Are we in the room, or are we properly sequestering
Now
to
that is a
avoid
good
hearing
question.
testimony as is proper court procedure, that subsequently testifying witnesses will not be in the room, such that
Correct.
they cannot hear prior test. Excellent.
Yes, that is correct. You guys are not in the room, so that you don't hear, and other testimonies can get to metagame the whole way through.
Yes.
That's the official courtroom ruling for that.
And or be looked upon in all of our white court glory.
All right,
Hey.
fine.
As
You
the case may be.
All right. Do I notice
So,
any site
What do you
usage?
think they're saying in there?
You wouldn't notice any site usage.
Real good question. I'm not sure.
You wouldn't really notice site usage in and of itself.
Do I notice
Um,
any faces change as they look upon my aura? Potentially.
Donald Morgan changes nothing. He has looked upon you. This is one of the reasons he's so sure. He thinks he's got it wrong a second time. The whole evil doers are evil, and there's no way to change him. So you might as well chop off their head with a sword. That thing is changing in his head. Anastasia Lucio does not look at you with her sight. From what you understand, her vision does not change in the slightest. I guess that doesn't technically mean she can't. She's a very competent wizard.
She either has a very good poker face or she didn't look.
Correct. Peabody looked at you in a very focused look, obviously taking the open invitation. Then he looks back a little shocked.
Ah, the stenographer. What have you seen?
I saw acts of light necromancy, as anyone else should. You've spoken with the dead, banished one. It seems even reports from town that you are a necromancer by all accounts. Enough, by the way, if you were following regular protocol, enough to have your head stricken from your shoulders, just for being as public as you are with the darkest of arts. That's in character.
Yes. Yes. I understand this is a bit of a step from tradition. But once certain things come to light, it's hard to hide them back in the darkness.
Exactly our reasoning for keeping things in the dark, Anastasia said from the bench.
It wasn't really my choice. I just tried to help people. I'm trying to do the right thing out there.
Roll me a report.
That's a 3 for me.
Okay. She seems somewhat swayed. You notice that you actually may have hit a nerve somewhere in there. In the end, she is the captain of the Wardens. She got into this wizarding business to do the right thing. Are there some dirty days? Maybe there are. Maybe there's all you can do. You have a minor consequence you can inflict next time.
Okay.
Slight change of heart. Next witness. You don't have a personal attorney there to help you out and let you know what's going on, but I think you can figure out that was a very rough round.
Yeah.
You played a bunch of real big risks, and that was dangerous. So let's call in a super simple choice. Who's going to be your winning witness here?
My winning witness.
Who's going to be the one? Who's going to be the one to help you out?
Well, I was going to call in
Does
Austin
the
next.
prosecution have no more witnesses to call?
I was like,
Because the prosecution
honestly,
will call all their witnesses first.
yes, but there's a bunch of witnesses you guys don't get to see because you guys aren't part of it.
but I
So
get to
we
see
skip
them
them
since I'm
again.
defending myself, correct?
Yeah, there's There's a wizard specialist in auras, showing some small staining in your aura due to the necromancy to line up with Peabody's testimony after the site usage. There are a few people who are experts in ectomancy, just the type of gray magic areas that we could really classify this into. And they're talking about the finer details and distinction in between ectomancy and necromancy. And there are some telltale signs of a person who's going to flip and switch. But in general, I mean, you're going to be on probation no matter what as an ectomancer. That's one of the things that is imparted to you in general. Finally, the last people they call in are some people around town. They aren't aware of the larger proceedings. They think this is a town hall to talk about you. They are not sure why exactly it's being structured the way it is, but they come up one by one screaming bad things about things that you must have done. Someone's dog died. Obviously, that must have been your work. Some person had their computer was wiped of all memory, and they were working on an important project, and they really do blame you. And you thought this actually might have been you, but then you finally pieced it together. This happened months ago. This had nothing to do with your big blast. He's just upset. Another person had a bunch of other complaints that had to do with being unable to get around women. And one person was mourning the loss of a erectile dysfunction penis. Obviously, all your work as well.
Well, what about that one guy who had skeletons rising out of his backyard, and then they were like trying to clamber into the house? Was he there?
He is going to come on the other side of the witnesses.
You're talking about the guy that defended it with by growing plants? That guy?
Yes, that guy.
He wasn't so worried about it. It made a lot of money. It was a very lucrative process. He's going to be on the pros side. Anyway, now, defense. Let's call your first witness.
All right. So obviously I called Sean, or they called Sean, one of the two.
Yeah.
The rest of the witnesses the prosecution called, those sound fairly flimsy. Like a lot of those seem fairly flimsy. Like is that something I might be able to lean upon?
If you could recognize it, if anyone could roll a scholarship check and somehow get you that information.
Scholarship.
The finer aspects.
Oh man, I dropped that down to 1 a couple sessions ago.
That's right. No nerds at my table. Gonna run you through some mental stuff now.
That's a 1. 1 on the scholarship.
You notice they're not getting you with like anything like damning. They haven't like got a picture of you raising the dead or like any of that.
His prints were on the femur.
His prints were on the femur. Yeah, you are not dead to rights as it stands. And you're technically correct. You're not an evil necromancer. Like you can't be, right? Right?
Right.
Yeah, you're sure.
I'm known as the good necromancer for a reason.
Good. Okay, excellent.
All right. I guess. So you just want me to call my star witness? We're not going to go through.
Oh, we can go through all your witnesses,
okay.
But we want to handle the ones that physically exist.
All right. Well, I guess let's call Devin first. Save Austin for the knockout punch. Hopefully.
Sounds good.
I have an idea of what I'm going to say. I don't know how much it's going to help.
It's going to be great. Now, you are the only one who actually knows how this works, Tim. Tyler's going to lead this, right? That's how that works.
Yeah. Tyler would
Perfect.
ask the questions. Yeah, truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. Whatever you guys do here for your wizardy things.
All right.
They hold up the first edition of the King James Bible to you.
Ooh. Thank you.
Whoa.
Inappropriate.
Adults only stream here.
Jesus.
It is marked adults only.
Jesus.
This is marked as a mature stream.
Yeah.
You're
That's
welcome.
for gore, not inappropriate behavior. Come on. I'll talk about a spider eating a fairy's head off, but that's too much.
There are kids. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Devereaux. I know you normally go by Dev. Will the court allow us to call him Dev?
The court recognizes August Devereaux III.
Devereaux Gentry the Third.
Pardon us, August Devereaux Gentry III.
All right. Well, I'm sorry, August. When did you first meet me?
Oh, that would have been about 14 months ago, by my recollection.
And under what circumstances did you first meet the defendant?
Well, it was here, actually. Yeah, so I'd gotten word that in terms of like magical information brokering, this was the place to come in New Orleans. And yeah, so I thought it was Gwen. Hi, Gwen. But yeah, she pointed me to you because you knew some mates of mine.
Yes. And which mates of yours were these?
Those are the lads that were known as the Firebugs. You may have heard of them.
And
If there was a crowd, there'd be a hush.
Yeah.
Ooh.
and why were you trying to find these firebugs?
Well, they disappeared after a building ostensibly fell on them.
I would like the record to show that I guess it would have been earlier with one of the earlier witnesses. We would have covered the giant attack.
Perhaps Sean, who was there for the giant attack.
Yeah.
Which I know you covered in your cross witness thing. I mean that was
Yeah.
definitely obviously what happened because you wouldn't have forgot about it.
No. You would have definitely established all of the good that you have done
Mhm.
and avoided the necromancer part of the title.
Now, did you ever end up finding your friends, the firebugs?
Haven't yet. Still hoping.
But I do understand that you have found evidence of them.
Unfortunately, not much. Just that they are still alive, in theory.
And how did you find this evidence out?
You performed a tracking spell.
And in this year and change that you've known me, what would you say? How would you judge my character? Am I a evil
Well,
necromancer looking to control the dead, or
Objection. He's leading the witness.
Objection. Sustain.
Sorry.
Well, backstory is a little bit underdeveloped. We haven't really touched on your family yet. Overall motivations are a little bit hazy as well. Connections with the community are good. They give a lot of plot points to work off of. Oh wait, no, sorry.
Wait a minute. These are different notes.
wait. Are you writing a book about me?
No.
Ah, good.
But
We don't need any of those floating around.
yeah, no, sure. I'm sure the tales of a magic user in a big city helping people out, occasionally facing down forces that are much larger than themselves. It would never take off. Never take off.
No, of course not.
Conjecture.
But your character seems to be good. I still haven't met your family, even though you keep saying you're going to have them over for dinner. So that's a little bit curious.
Yeah, they're busy people. I'm sure you know about that.
I certainly do, but I mean, you are certainly loyal. You didn't abandon Austin to those Black Court vampires in the swamp.
Oh, and you know what?
Another hush falls over the crowd.
Actually,
Once again, no crowd, but yes, a hush.
thank you. Do you have anything else you would like to add?
Not that I can think of.
The prosecution, as it was, begins to speak. It is unfortunately Anastasia, since we have such a low amount of actual people in this court process, and I didn't want to invent new people. Takes the witness. Mr. Devereaux.
Gentry.
August? Gentry. Mr. Gentry, we have not heard much about this information of the Black Court vampires in the woods. This was a incident that might have been possibly glossed over. Could you give just a little bit more information on that?
I was gonna wait
Absolutely.
for Austin for that one.
So the long and short of it is, we were headed out into the swamp, encountered 2 Black Court vampires, Bony Tony and Slender James, feeding on someone about 15 minutes walk into the swamp, and attempted to book it out of there because, like any rational individual, we didn't want to mess with Black Court vampires.
As one shouldn't.
So, I mean, we ran. They chased. They never caught us.
Obviously. So this would have been the second meeting that our friend Romain had with these same Black Court vampires, Anthony and James, in the swamps?
I believe so. I wasn't around for the first one.
Yeah, of course. And I notice in recent memory that there has been a small blight enacted upon the swamps. Something possibly done by a person capable of affecting the arts of life and death and possibly killing everything in a small radius to fuel some kind of necromantic spell.
Such as a Black Court vampire, yes.
Good point. Thank you. Now, how is it, and I don't mean to be rude, but how is it that 2 non-magic users, not even focus practitioners, we've got no records on you or Romain's other friend, how is it that you 2 escaped Black Court vampires? I understand a fledgling wizard making their way through. And no offense, but mortals have a rough time.
None taken. Really? The same way I'm talking to you here today. Words.
Do you care to elaborate?
Not particularly, but I will anyway. You see, when we came across them, they were in the midst of feeding. And, this, may be inaccurate, but it seems as though Black Court vampires, as with most things, can only consume so much at one time.
News to us.
Well, now you know.
Apparently to me too, because given that I talked them out of confrontation, seeing as they had a history with Austin and Romain, at least from what I'd heard, talked them out of confrontation into letting us leave.
That is quite impressive, I have to admit.
Thank you.
The defense rest just means we get rid of the witness, right? They're not done.
No, right.
And they're the prosecution, for that matter.
Yeah.
Next witness, moving on.
Yes.
Mhm.
Actual court proceedings go on. People say the
Unless you
correct
have
words.
unless you have any redirect questions, Tyler. You
Oh,
can
right.
come.
Oh, I
In
wasn't.
case
I
I
wasn't even
interrupt
thinking
something.
about. I was. I was.
No? Okay.
Yep. No, we're gonna
This
go
is
with
an
no.
official courtroom drama today, folks.
Yeah.
We're playing with the real rules, sort of.
No, we're not.
no,
We
we're
are
not.
Definitely not.
We are not playing with any actual real rules. These are just made up based off of TV shows I've seen. All right.
Dun dun.
Dun dun. All right. Magic Court is back in session. Our next witness is Austin Cash.
Mhm.
Is it Austin Cash? Tyler, do you want to, fill out and use him as the final driving hammer?
We'll
Or
call in.
Or do you
We'll
need an
call in
NPC first?
Father Shenanigans.
Father Shenanigans. Father Shenanigan comes in. No need for a mind wipe or a facade. Father Shenanigans has, if not respect, at least he has not been killed by anything dangerous that moves in New Orleans, and that gives him enough respect that he didn't need to be mind wiped. Father Shenanigans sits down and waits for you to speak.
Father, you know why you're here today, correct?
Of course, my son. I'm here to give you a good character reference.
A character reference. If it is good, it's up to you. If you would explain to the court your dealings with Mr. LeBeau.
Oh, yes. Romain LeBeau has been going to my church since he was a young boy. He's had a small crisis of faith after coming into his magic. As we've seen many, many times over, at some point when you can control the powers of creation yourself, it's hard to be humble, and I understand that. I've been having conversations with Romain regularly, perhaps once or twice a month, sometimes to receive guidance, sometimes to receive help getting some kind of holy weapon. He's told me on several occasions he has fought the undead. As a Catholic priest, I am vehemently opposed to such obstructions upon the life and death cycle.
And just to clarify, Father, when you say vehemently opposed to the obstructions, you were referring to the undead, not the fighting of the undead, correct?
Yes, the undead themselves.
Right. And overall, what would you say? What would your judge of the character of Mr. LeBeau be?
Romain is a good boy. He's done good things, and he cares to do good things. He cares that what he does is right, and not just correct or mandated. He cares that it does the best for the most people, which I find to be a good marker of a good person. And I know, because of that, I'll one day see him coming to church and filling a pew seat. One of these Sundays, Wednesdays, or Tuesday evenings.
Anyone who cares to notice, Romain has a little tear in his eye after hearing such good things said by such a good man. Thank you, Father. The defense rests.
Prosecutions.
No, it doesn't. No further questions.
Sorry, no further questions.
There we go. We keep on accidentally ending this court case for no good reason.
Yeah,
We keep on doing that, and it seems like we probably shouldn't.
I mean, this is the first magical court case there's ever been, so
we're setting precedent here, really.
It goes to say that some of the people may not exactly know the terms.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And by some of them, to mean most of.
Yeah.
To keep this from being a conversation where I talk to myself about plot lines that I wrote about this game, we'll go ahead and tell you what kind of happens in this conversation with Father Shenanigans and Anastasia. Basically, he is brought into question whether or not he honestly has that much of a decent know-how of the undead, whether or not the Catholic Church is the best to discover necromancers. They haven't been in charge of that capacity for a couple hundred years at this point. And yes, the new guys are new at it. And we should at least have them be the foremost and up front. It was not a strong attack. Father Shenanigans is pretty well respected, and this was just the prosecution doing what they were supposed to do. The witness
questioning his credibility as an expert, but not his credibility as a person.
That's the one. Thank you. I knew there were actual terms for this. Now, on to your next witness.
Before I call my next witness, I would like to present to the court a piece of evidence. I hold up Victor's letter. This is a letter from... is Victor... What is Victor's position now? In Monarch. I know he was an enforcer.
He's probably in training in somehow. Training. I'm not entirely sure. What do you think?
I don't remember it. I feel like it was some sort of like assistant director of something, but I don't.
Assistant to the director.
Assistant to the director. Okay.
From a regional director of Monarch Securities, stating about Romain's benefits to the world and the benefits to his character. And I present it and pass it around.
The letter continues to read. Within this letter is a reference to an encounter with a man named Lord Death, spelled capital X, lowercase x, capital L, alternating capitals ORD_DEATHXX. The encounter was positive, the note reads, but there is no art of guile, secrecy, or hiding this information in any kind of way. It is very obvious he is commending you for your good work when you met Lord Death.
All right. And now the defense would like to call Austin Cash to the stand.
Austin Cash.
That's a lot of new information to be put in right before Austin's at the helm. Let's do it. Okay.
All right.
I mean, I was going to call Gwen, but I assumed you didn't want two NPC.
I'll do it again in different ways.
Okay.
It's just it wins a lot meaner, and we can just pretend she didn't say any nice things about you.
Okay, sure. Anyway, so.
But actually, I'd prefer she's just not around.
Okay.
Because really, this is your mess. All right,
Austin,
let's get started.
How long have you known Romain LeBeau?
Well, I think about 3.5 years. Is that right? I think that's right. Seems about right.
Has it really been that long? I thought
we keep taking
like year
breaks. I think we've taken 2 breaks of a year.
Yeah, it's about 2.5 years.
Okay.
2.5 years. Okay, I miscounted.
2.5 years.
About 2.5 years.
That's just screen time. They knew each other for at least a small amount of time beforehand. It could have been 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's call it 3 years. Around even 3.
Okay, and in those, we'll call it 3 years, how well have you gotten to know Romain LeBeau?
I'd say pretty damn well, in fact, because, I mean, I think you're the person that knows me best, and I think I might be one of the people that know you best. Probably.
And in those 3 years, have you noticed Romain partaking in any necromancy?
Not that I know of. I mean, what? Okay, so here's the real good question, because I'm not trying to lie and put myself in contempt or nothing. But what does the court define necromancy as? Is it just like anything to do with dead things, or is it like specifically raising and controlling? Like, how does that?
I will let
The
the
laws
court
of
decide this.
magic. There we go. Okay. Oh, hey, look, it's finally the first thing when you look at the laws of magic. Ah, yes. So, very specifically, the laws of magic are the ones that we use to identify how one has broken them. The
Alright.
law in question is the fifth law of magic. Thou shalt not reach beyond the borders of life. That is the end of the sentence.
Do you want to? Is there any kind of elaboration? Just like you don't control people's lives? I'm confused.
Thou shalt not reach beyond the borders of life. It is a broad rule because it is a broad category that should not be messed with.
All right. Well, then to say I think no still. However, we've been around death and dead things a bit and have taken some ghosts and made them not ghosts anymore. But I don't know if that's necromancy or like, because like holy people do that, and I don't think they're necromancers. So no, I'm gonna go with no.
Okay, and in these 3 years that you've not seen him doing any necromancy, how would you describe Romain's character?
Overall, I'd say great. He's a great guy. Always trying to help somebody out. Always there for me if I need to borrow $1 or need help with anything bigger, even help moving. He's always there, man. He's a good guy.
And you were present for both of the encounters with the vampires, correct?
We talk about those skeleton dudes.
Yes, Anthony and James, the Black Court vampires. I believe colloquially referred to as Bony Tony and Slender James.
Yeah, they refer to themselves as that even. So, yeah, that seems more correct. I was there both times. Yep.
And what happened? What happened during these encounters? We'll start with the first encounter. What happened during this first encounter?
If I remember correctly, we were in the woods. They showed up, attempted to kill us, narrowly escaped. And then the second time, pretty much, we showed up. They were eating, talked our way out of it, narrowly escaped. Haven't died yet. I don't know. I mean, basically, they show up, they try to kill us, we get out. I don't know. We should stick away from that swamp, I feel like, at this point.
Okay. And when you first met Romain LeBeau,
Right?
was he known as the Good Necromancer?
He sure wasn't. He sure wasn't. So it's actually a funny story because, see, this is the part that really gets me going about this whole court case in general. Because basically, we were we were contacted, or you were contacted, to help somebody dispel a ghost. I forget why he knew who you were, but contacted to dispel a ghost out of somebody's apartment, right? And then we went there. There was a ghost. We did some kind of hoodoo nudge it, and it was gone, right? So saved the guy from the ghost. Cops show up. They think we broke into the place, but we were just helping the guy get rid of a ghost. Boom, you got the nickname Good Necromancer, which I thought was hilarious because you always hated it. Hated it from the beginning, which is the mark of a real good nickname. Person that has it has to hate it just a little bit. But the biggest thing is as far as I could tell, other than the guy knowing that there was a ghost in his apartment, that guy didn't know much about magic at all. nicknamed you the Good Necromancer. It traveled around, and now all the people that do know about magic are just like believing this guy, and it really kind of blows my mind because it feels like at this point, if I just went up to the, I don't know, what's the judge's name there? I don't really know anybody here, but if like I called you like, I don't know, the World Ender, and then like spread that around, now you're just a world-ending person. Like it's just normal people that spread the name around, and now he's suddenly a necromancer. Kind of blows my mind, really.
Well, based on how quickly the Good Necromancer caught on, let's not start referring to the defendant as the World Ender.
That's fair. I mean, I'm just trying to make a claim. You know, I'm just trying to make these things make sense in my mind because it kind of just
The next
spread.
time he's in Wizard Court, it's going to be, are you Romain, the Good Necromancer, the World Ender, LeBeau?
Yeah.
Possible
Romain,
aliases, the World
Hater,
Ender.
Salad, LeBeau.
Yeah. So I mean, I've seen Romain do quite a bit of magic. Coming back to the Good Necromancer, and he's never, you know, his magic has to do with drawing something, and then it happens more or less. You know, he draws like, I don't know, a mouse, and there's like a mouse, and then it turns to ink again at some point. But it always has to do with ink and drawing. He's never really conjured things from, you know what I mean? It's all. Oh, I guess you're conjuring things, but you're conjuring with. You know what I'm trying to say? He doesn't take things that are there and change them or do things to them. He creates a thing that wasn't there before.
I believe what you're trying to say is that you've never seen me summon something undead. You've only seen me draw things. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, more or less. That's more or less what I'm trying to say. And I mean, that's pretty much all I gotta say at this
Out
point.
of character, I just realized I may have actually perjured our witness.
No, you said, "Are
No.
you trying to say?" And I said, more or
Yeah.
less, that is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. All right.
So real close, snaked that line like. Mm.
All right. Back
The
in
reason
character.
we are RPG players, and only one of us had anything close to legal work, and he's the one keep on telling us what we're supposed to be doing. Yeah.
I believe this
Anyway.
is when you do state that you are not actually a lawyer. You cannot give legal advice.
That's true.
Yep.
Like you said, I'm not a lawyer. I can't give legal advice.
Yeah. And this
Nothing
is
is meant to be or to be construed as legal advice.
and this is the
So,
point
This goes
where I will
definitely for
say
everyone here.
that goes for all of us.
Yeah. So if you do have legal
literally-
questions, contact a lawyer. That is
Yes.
what they are here for.
Contact the sales consultant that connects you to the paralegal that will eventually speak to your lawyer.
Or just call the law office directly.
That's the problem. Okay, anyway.
Okay.
So, moving forward. What are we doing? Oh, right. Yeah, you were...
Am
you
I
were,
done now? Can I leave, or what's the?
No,
gave a
they've
big
got to
giant
ask you some
speech.
questions first. I mean, the defense has no more questions, Your Honor.
All right. Austin Cash. We have you registered as local bounty hunter.
That
that
is correct. That is correct.
Excellent. How do you feel providing what is quite possibly extrajudicial help to the judicial system of the regular human courts?
Well, never been good at a lot of things, but I've always been pretty good at finding people, and it's a way to make money, I guess.
All right. Now, is that what you guys were doing when you headed into the swamp this most recent time?
It is indeed.
Okay. And that was the person that you found being eaten by the Black Court vampires.
Also true.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Now, how exactly did you escape the Black Court vampire?
Well, if I remember correctly, they said something along the lines of, well, there's people, we're going to kill them. And then Dev said something along the lines of, we don't have to take this to violence or more or less something like that. And then they're like, you know what? We did just eat. And then we ran. All I really remember is there's a little bit of talking and then we ran. And when I say ran, we took off because, obviously, we had already fought them one time. We know exactly how quickly they'd kill us and it would be fast. So then we ran and we ran some more and then we got a little lost and then we ran a little more and then, eventually made our way out.
All right.
I feel like those black courts don't like to leave the swamp. So once we got out, we seemed to be free and clear.
Roll me a deception check.
Nothing I said was a lie.
Deceit. Sorry. Yeah, it was. You told 3 or 4 intentional lies.
They were not lies. He definitely did omit
Did not
quite a
mean
few
to post
things.
that. Yeah, I did omit quite a few things, but everything I said was true.
Early
I didn't mean
wave
to post
for
that, by
everyone
the
on
way.
the chat. You guys don't get to see
I
it.
can
It's
explain.
a shame.
Actually, it might show up on stream. We'll see.
I sure
We'll
hope
see.
so.
We can only hope.
Do I have deceit?
I don't believe it will.
It did not. Nope.
Shame.
Bummer.
Definitely only shows text on the stream.
A 3.
Jeez. Wow. Okay. Cool.
Good
Didn't
roll.
think you'd do that.
Me
All right.
neither.
Already.
Yeah.
That goes to the roller. All right, player, because we just want you to win. You get away with what is direct deception in the court. Bam. It's not the
Lies
legal
of
court. It's not
omission.
America.
Direct deception would be we innocently walked in there, they got distracted for a minute, and we ran out. That would be direct deception. This was a roundabout, specifically roundabout deception.
Once they got out of the woods, they weren't interested in you anymore. Is a direct lie because they stopped you from leaving. But
Yeah, but once we were out of the woods, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, to be fair, once we were out of the woods, they were also out of the woods.
regardless, I am ruling that in the Dresden Files game world, if you start
fine.
asking me, if you start talking squirrely enough that you need to say, I don't technically need a deception check, I'm calling for a deception check anyway.
Yeah.
That's the rules.
I'm not against rolling a deception check. All I'm saying is that's not direct deception. It is a roundabout.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Good. All right. All right. So we're to understand that you guys have twice fought Black Court vampires, escaped, one time doing nothing but talking your way out of it. Fair enough.
I don't think we talked. We pretty much ran our way out of that one. But yeah, more or less.
Are you aware of what's causing the blight of New Orleans?
Describe the blight of New Orleans.
Cool. The blight of New Orleans, sometime in the last month, something has happened, causing the ground in the swamps to dry up. Trees and vegetation are dying. The different plant and animal life has started to go wild, roaming into the streets to find new food sources. There's been quite a bit of unrest. It'd be hard for you not to understand what the blight of New Orleans would be.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. I didn't know it was called that. More or less, why is that relevant to whether Romain is a necromancer?
Well, a spell like that, and I understand you not being a spellcaster yourself, a spell like that can be accomplished in many different ways. Possibly a spell that simply causes some form of heat that goes many sunrises over. A very powerful spell, something we wouldn't really expect from someone of Romain's talent level. But this spell could also be necromantic, as in that it would affect the life cycle of the ecosystem around the swamp, killing the trees, root, and branch, then causing the water to erode away, causing the swamp to start to dry out, causing the creatures in the swamps to start getting sick, dying, and leaving to find new food sources.
All right, well, then correct me if I'm wrong, but if someone cast that powerful of a necromantic spell, wouldn't you be able to, see it on them?
Well, that is our big question, isn't it? Is
my
that
big
what
question.
happened? Well, we also know that magic can be a lot more refined. Mr. LeBeau showed a great talent for thaumaturgy. This would be magic done where small things affect large things in like ways. A seed will affect the tree. And in this way, possibly a small, tiny patch of dirt may affect the swamp. If you find the quote-unquote heart of the swamp, you can kill it as easily as you could a snarling monster.
And then, correct me if I'm wrong, but thaumaturgy isn't necromancy, is it?
Thaumaturgy is a method of spellcasting rather than a school. You could use thaumaturgy to create necromantic spells, yes.
Oh, you can. Interesting.
Mhm.
Okay, so you think... I'm trying to, figure this out. You think that Romain cast a necromantic spell to cause the swamp to die, and you can't see it on him for some reason? All these powerful mages here?
Yes. I would believe that.
I 100% know that is not what happened.
And what do you stake this claim on?
He's not a necromancer. I've known him for a long time. That's why I'm here to say.
What ethos do you bring to this statement? You're staking your name on it. What does that name mean?
What does my name mean?
Yes.
I don't know. Probably not much in the grand scheme of things. I'm just trying to tell him that I've known the guy for a long time, and I haven't seen him be a necromancer.
All right. We will take your inexperienced and amateur opinion upon the workings of magic and the nature of friendship, which I will go ahead and give you expertise on. And we will go ahead and end our questions.
Well, yeah, wait, before I stop, you're saying my uneducated opinion, right? But isn't the person that gave him the name in the first place also uneducated? And that's what you're basing him being a necromancer on in the first place?
Peabody has shown that there is a taint upon his system. There is necromantic taint there.
Okay, then my next question. If he can see the necromantic taint, wouldn't he be able to see the whole necromantic? Oh, God. Anyway, if he's looking at his necromantic taint, do you think he can see the whole necromantic giblets as well? Because if he cast a magical spell that killed the whole swamp, that wouldn't just be the taint. That'd be the whole, probably butthole, crotchal region of the whole necromantic being. You know what I mean?
Well, we take these rulings of magical law breakings based off the type that they cause. Killing or directly doing necromancy on another human being or a human spirit is much different than killing plants. The taint would not be anywhere close to as... what's the phrase? Obvious. It wouldn't be so easily seen.
And, okay, I got one last question. I'll get out of your hair. So if you think he is an all-powerful necromancer capable of hiding his necromancy from you, right? Because he's obviously doing all these real powerful necromancy things and you guys can't see them. Why would he slip up and let you see the small, tiny bits of necromancy then?
Well, this would be two errors of thinking. A, that a person who has not committed mistakes before would continue to not commit mistakes. And B, that we think he's an all-powerful necromancer. We think he's an amateur, but they are dangerous enough to be stopped.
All right, well, that's all I got to say.
All right.
Anything else from you, Romain, before I head out?
Cross-question, or whatever.
Redirect, as in
There
direct
we go.
again.
Redirect. Direct it back.
All right, this is out of character.
Bring it.
Should I ask Austin to tell them about the fireball?
The what?
You guys have been pretty good about not saying
sun.
anything about it.
Yeah,
I've been trying real hard to
Like
make
I
you guys
didn't know
say it.
anything about it. I was not there for that.
I specifically talked my way around it real closely and difficultly.
On purpose.
If
'cause
you
I
brought
knew
it up
about
now, that seems like a mistake.
But to be fair, you can't really have this conversation because you know
Okay.
you're at a table.
That
He's the box.
was just an out of like checking with my conscience kind of deal. Okay.
You
do-
did see me. You saw me specifically talk around it. Keep that in mind. I think that's the one like less complete and totally breaking the fourth wall. The way of saying that.
But do what you think is best.
Exactly. I mean, it's your case. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not my character that has something to lose from that. It's yours. Or gain, even. So.
Well,
it's up to
I
you
hate
guys.
to lose a thaumaturgist, but that's up to you guys.
All right. I would like to explain my thinking of it to you guys, but it would be way
Nope.
too much table talk.
You
All
got
right.
it. Figure it
No
out.
no
Do it
further
yourself.
questions, Mr. Cash. Please enjoy the rest of your day.
Good luck, Romain. I'll head out.
Okay, Tyler. If I gave you 2 fate points, would you do it?
Oh my god.
You know what? I'll take it. After
There we go.
Oh.
after
my
dismissing
God.
Austin. After dismissing Austin.
After dismissing Austin, so it's not up to Austin. You call yourself to the stand? In classic legal movie drama showdown?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
No. I'm not gonna do that at all.
Not going to testify on your own behalf.
And finally, court. White court? Nope. White council.
Council.
Wrong one.
Sorry.
Wrong group.
Sorry, I'm new to this whole magic in society thing. Please forgive me. I would like to call myself to testify on my own behalf.
Court allows it. Go on ahead.
Now, it seems to me that the prosecution has been leaning rather heavily upon this blight of the swamp that has happened recently. I would like to, wow, I had words that I was going to say and completely forgot what they were.
Spirit of full transparency.
Those were the exact words, actually. Thank you. In the spirit of full transparency, I would like to admit that it was in fact my doing.
The blight.
Gasp again.
A hush falls over the crowd, and you know what? We've added more people because we need a real crowd for this. Come on. There's been too many hush moments.
I did not do it intentionally. We were being chased through the swamp by Bony Tony and Slender James, and I was ready for them to pounce on us. The entire time I was charging a sunlight spell. Well, it turns out when you charge a sunlight spell for a few hours, it ends up more like an atomic bomb.
Yeah, it was more minutes.
Yeah. Or
Was it
Probably more
minutes?
like 30 minutes.
Minutes
maybe?
would be.
that's
20.
I'd say maybe 30 minutes at best.
Okay. For half an hour. I mean, it was
It's a lot of running.
It was 13 rounds,
Yeah.
so it was a decent chunk.
You were capable of powering a sunlight spell for 30 minutes?
It took a lot of strain, and obviously I couldn't control it.
At some point, a joke could be made about the capacity for a millennial to generate that much happiness. Oh, no, you'd be a Gen Xer, wouldn't you? Never mind.
Yeah.
Joke's dead.
For the
Ruined.
I mean, I even
Gen
still have
X
the drawing of it
nonsense.
right here. You'll notice
It
it's a little
is
burned
impressive
around the
that you could-
edges.
Generate enough happiness to charge the spell, not to mention the magical magnitude of the spell. We estimated that spell as a simple necromantic action, somewhere. I mean, this is white court level magic here. As a sunlight spell, I'm not even sure what I would even generate this at.
To be fair, I wasn't using happiness particularly. I was absolutely terrified. I was just shoving any and all emotion I could into it.
That would
Just
explain the
controlling my
blight.
fear is the only way. Just pouring it into the spell.
Anastasia looks over to Donald. That would explain the blight effects. And Donald looks knowingly and coughs. Yes. I will have to confer with both our jury, she points at Sean, and the bailiff, and points at Donald. A small recess has been called. Everyone is welcome to hang out away against regular court protocols because you guys need a couple of moments of in-character interaction.
All right. Off in a side room, I guess. Would it just be the three of us, or would any of the other witnesses have been there?
Any of your favorite NPCs can come if you'd like.
Okay.
Just none of theirs.
I guess Gwen and Shenanigans would be there as well.
Gwen looks to be nursing a drink that has been refilled a few times. She is watching from somewhere, it's obvious. What you've known her for a while, she's done that thing where she plays with her hair, so it's a little out of place, standing up in awkward angles.
Mm-hmm.
She's also, very obviously gone through the drink a few times. And possibly is on her second bottle of whatever alcohol's in there.
Well,
Father Shenanigans, the exact opposite. He's been very calm. Also been, not exactly watching the proceedings so much as he has been waiting to be needed again. And has been very patient.
Well, no matter how this goes, I thank all y'all for being here, coming here on my behalf. Can't tell you how much I appreciate your friendship and having my back in this time of need.
Father Shenanigan takes you by the hand and tells you anything you'll need in the coming days, my son. If you find me, I will be there to help you.
Thank you, Father.
You find a rosary pressed to your hand. Magical introspection finds it is not magical, except for the fact that it is a nice gift from a friend, which is magical in its own way, but not like.
Hey, if you've ever read Harry Potter, they say the biggest magic is love. So
that is true. That is true in Harry Potter. All right. Gwen is actually sitting close by to Dev at this point in time. She is having a small conversation with him that calmed down when Romain entered the room and is open back up as time moves forward.
Well, that seemed pretty close. Those guys they knew some things. They were ready for some things.
So once they were dismissed, would they have been able to watch the rest of the hearing or no?
No.
Okay.
I was guessing no. On that one as well.
I was guessing a no as well, but it couldn't hurt to ask.
Yeah.
Austin, I told them about the fireball.
Holy shit. Oh, well. All right. Well, I just thought, I didn't know how bad they'd think that was, so I was trying to talk my way around that one a bit, but hell, at least they didn't know it was necromantic power. It was the sun. He summoned the sun.
It seemed like they were leaning fairly heavily on it, and just so they knew, I told them. I know it wasn't necromancy. You know it wasn't necromancy. But
right.
Does he though?
It didn't seem like necromancy. I don't know if summoning the sun is necromantic. I don't really know much about it either way.
Nah, man, I'm just messing with you. Doesn't seem like I was too much help out there. I wish it could have been more, but this whole Law and Order shtick. Not my favorite place to be.
Well, it's better than the alternative. Gwen speaks up. See, what they used to do is they would just chop off your head. They'd approach you, and they'd tell you you're going to have a meeting with the council because you broke some law or something like that. And then they'd drag you to a warehouse in the middle of nowhere, and they'd kill you. Actually, in the really old days, it'd be a field in the middle of nowhere, and really, add insult to injury, it'd be your own field, and you'd just be in as much trouble because there's no forensic files in the freaking 1700s.
Well,
Where
shit,
was
love,
I?
that does sound worse.
Anyway, so this is weird. I've been really racking my nerves and tried to remember that it's better than it sounds. Like, I don't know. See, I've been watching the whole thing. I'm surprised they're alive. I mean, they had killed for so much less. Gwen continues to speak for a couple more seconds on the same topic, not really being a guiding beacon of hope, when finally Donald Morgan knocks on the door and invites you back into the courtroom.
Before I go, I walk over to Gwen. I think I might need this more than you right now.
Yep.
And then,
I think you might need this. And she waves her hand, and one of her tattoos erases into the air, and you feel incredibly lucky. And she slumps down on the table. Either the expenditure of the magic or the sentence knocking her out of the picture.
I kind of take a jacket and cover her up and then walk out. All right. Bum, bum.
There we go. Now, because we want to have possibilities, and I know how I want this to play either way, go ahead. We're going to make one big, giant final report check. Use everything you have. You have a bunch of fate points, aspects, use everything. The better you do, the better I'm going to judge you. There is no limit, and I have a minimum in mind of your failure.
Okay.
We'll let you know later.
Is this a speech that I'm making? Or
No.
is this
It's a culmination
for
of all your speeches
overall?
and choices.
Okay.
You can also choose a contacts roll. Same rules.
But don't forget, you got a free tag on Lucio right now.
Yes, I've got the free tag on Lucio. I've got the lucky.
Mm-hmm.
You've got 2 fate points at least from telling them that, and whatever fate points left over you have.
Yep.
Tag it all, baby.
Yeah.
Plus
right.
20 something on this one.
So
What
I'm
we're
going to
looking
tag
for.
both of those. I'm going to tag the Good Necromancer, Truth-Seeking Magical Artist. I Know Things Too. Tunnel Visioned. My last 2 are Not What They Seem and Brushed by Death. The Brushed by Death I don't think I can tag.
Well, how many fate points do you have?
I've got
Brush
5.
by death seems more possible than not what they seem. Well, actually, both obviously could work because it's not. If you seem like a necromancer, you're not what you seem.
Okay.
And
That works.
then brush by death. This seems like a life or death moment to be brushed by it. Am I wrong?
All right.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole core of your necromantic issue ties like that stain on your soul ties back to our encounter with Lord Death.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got the brushed with death.
Okay.
That's why you look like you're a necromancer to
All right.
Peabody.
So that's 7
like a
tags
plus
off my
14?
sheet, plus the 2 free ones. That's a
9 tags.
that's a
plus
18.
To whatever
Plus-
regular roll
Plus
you
an
have.
additional 3, so this is a plus 21.
Say, how did you get 7 tags off your sheet with 5 fate points?
Oh,
I think it's
fair.
7 total.
One
not 9
free.
total.
No, one free for off your. Yeah, you only
Yeah,
have 5. So
So it's 14 plus 3 is 17.
Yeah.
still,
Even still,
17.
that's pretty freaking good.
Yeah, that's
All right.
that's like Victor fighting the Jotun.
Yeah.
It's not quite the plus 20 that you were hitting at some points, but
That you could do it. You could do it a couple times in a row. I remember.
I mean, you
All
know,
right.
I was big, okay?
That is a
That was
19.
big.
That is a 19
Dang.
for the roll.
All right, your efforts are successful. I was going to set this DC at 15. By the way, everyone who's aware, the scale ends at 8, and that's supposed to be a legendary feat. We're apparently way past that. I'd also warned you this was going to be important. Although I feel like you could tell. You are going to be looked at more closely, along with all of your allies. If you wish to continue being an open magic user, you need to continue to submit to tests once every decade. You are going to have to make reports to the White Council. Your reporting officer will be Sean or Donald if he's in town. You are essentially on magic parole. You have to repair the damage done by the blight. And you need to, if you are going to take the mantle of a good necromancer, you need to make good on it. If you're going to be a good necromancer, you need to be good to everyone. You need to make sure that everyone is aware of what you're doing, above board, and all of this continues to hype more scrutiny on you. Our recommendation is to shut down as the good necromancer, hide away somewhere quiet until the popularity dies down, and go back to your life and stop using magic.
Stop using magic? Just
It's our
like
advice.
that?
That would be our advice. It's the easiest way to keep you from continuing to gain notoriety as a necromancer, which would cause us to have to look into you more closely, and eventually we'll find something.
But there's nothing to find. I thought that's what this whole case was about.
We found nothing. There's nothing to find. Anastasia says that one. Donald Morgan coughs, looks in her direction, thinks to speak, and then thinks again, not speaking. He has won a serious case already in the fact that you're not dead, and probably something had to come of that.
No, there is nothing left to find. I'm looking her in the eyes if she chooses to hold the contact.
She does! Sylvis. As you look upon Anastasia's eyes, you dive down deep into them. I'm going to go ahead and say the eyes are gray. As you fall into this gray expanse, you see a vibrant purple ribbon spanning back. As you look at the ribbon, you see moments in time spanning back, and back, further into the history of time, going back somewhere around 400 years. Probably. I don't know. That's probably not right. You see very early events of both early America, middle Italy, late France, depending on which France you're talking about. All of these culminating in the person Anastasia is today. Free-flowing, but definitely following in a line. There is a tradition that needs to be continued. A ribbon does not randomly jut off from one course, it follows the path. Looking at you, her expression changes. It is not... She's no longer obviously sure you're a necromancer who's escaped justice. Something in there is doubtful now that she's seeing you in this way. But your parole is the same. She does not let it show other than that brief moment of introspection. And your sentence is the same. You are advised to quit magic. You don't have to. Any further magic use is going to continue to add scrutiny to your life and to the lives of your friends. And if they do find something tangentially related, even by a contact or a friend, or a contact or a friend of a friend, there might be more conversations like this.
Oh, that friend of a friend is an issue.
Hey there.
Yeah.
That was
I'd
not
like to
that was
remind
not
you
in
that,
character. That was nowhere near close to in character.
Yeah.
I know. Just reminding everybody that my friends have already tangled with dark magic once, and
Seem to be doing it again.
Also, I have
Yes.
Yeah.
stopped them not once but twice now.
yeah, but that was back when they were on the fire kick. Who knows where they are now?
And honestly, what? A bunch of focus practitioners infighting? How am I supposed to tell who's who? All right. Well, with that legal hurdle barely accomplished, we move forward with our lives. Everyone is welcome to speak to any mentors they personally find important. And once again, we did not get to Lord Death. I know. I promised
We'll
we'd
get
do it
there
last
eventually.
week. We'll get
He
yeah.
came up. He
You'll
came up.
always get there. He's gonna come eventually. He always will. Anyway,
He's right there behind us. You just got to turn around and look.
son of a bitch. All right, let's go talk to people's personal mentors and or life gurus. Yeah, life guru number one. We'll start with Austin.
Yeah, I want to go find that place, knock on the door, and say the password.
Excellent.
Knock, knock, knock. I'm totally a vampire.
The little bar opens up. You see a pair of eyes, a little bit too gray-white to be regular human.
I want to suck your blood.
It's last month's password, but get it in. The door opens up, and you hit a cutscene. We will start there next week with you.
Dope.
All right. Next up, Dev, if you've got anyone you've been meaning to speak to.
I'm gonna go drink with Gwen.
Good plan. You learn a lot about Gwen. No one has actually done this before with Gwen, and I have had her backstory ready to go this whole time.
Excellent.
She talks about an X for like ever. You pick up his name is Arthur, and it starts with a P. His last name starts with a P.
Yeah.
Honestly, she had so many intense feelings for him, but he was kind of hung up on this other girl. Same name, even. Gwen and Gwen. It was terrible. Anyway, she was awful to him, and Gwen knew it all along and tried to warn him, and he just wouldn't listen, and eventually he ghosted everybody and disappeared. No one's seen him since.
That sounds absolutely terrible.
You are welcome, if you'd like to hit on Gwen. It'll be receptive, and you can have that be a thing. But we're not going to roleplay it because
That's weird.
that's weird. That's true. But it seems in character.
totally
if
will,
you want to
though.
try it? Yes.
totally
There you go. Some form of romantic relationships, or platonic with extra bonuses, has been initiated between Jeff and Gwen. And finally, you choose one of your many mentors and or dark, terrible allegiances, and we'll talk to them.
Just not Gwen.
Just not Gwen. She is busy.
I was going to do Gwen, but I'm assuming she's not home when I knock on the.
She is not.
Well, in that case, Romain's gonna take a walk through what was the swamp and see the damage that he's done, because he hasn't actually been back since.
It is somewhat extensive. The land it crumbles under your feet. What we used to be like mushy, wet ground that you could lose a shoe in, even now just dirt piled on top of dirt, and it's loose and it's weird. There would be some dangers of, I don't know, possibly some kind of quicksands or pitfalls or other things like that. You might be true. I don't know. I've never taken all the water out of a swamp before. Don't know how that exactly works. The trees are all dead, as if the life were actively drained out of them. You earnestly just see this scorched landscape in front of you. And that is when you see a little teeny tiny, totally human-sized skeleton arm slowly inching its way across the room, across the floor. And that is where we will end this week.
Dang. Well, at least he didn't get thrown in jail or.
I do like that we had 3 fade to blacks.
Yeah.
Like,
3 fades to blacks, yes. I
3
had to
very
start with
different
3
fades to
different
black.
places. I had to start with 3 very different places as you guys open up next week, and I'm very excited. Because you're all in mortal danger.
I
God.
believe it. Me especially.
Honestly, the most.
Wind will break you in half.
Emotionally, mostly.
Yeah.
Please.
She's a man-eater.
Have you
Work
seen my
hard.
character art?
Make you
Or, like,
spend
character
hard.
concept art? 'Cause
Come on.
yeah,
That character concept art, it's all there.
yeah,
Come on.
He could swing it. He could get it.
yeah.
Okay. Well, we're gonna go ahead and give you guys I gave you a minor milestone last time, right?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and give you guys a moderate,
Yeah.
a moderate milestone.
What does moderate give us again?
I
Skill
think it's a
point
skill
is the
point.
primary thing.
Yeah, skill
Yeah.
point's the big one.
Skill point and the bonuses of a minor.
So shifting
So
some
we
stuff
can
around if you want to.
swap and tweak.
Mhm.
Big thing is a skill point, though.
Yes.
All right. If I get discipline to 4, does that increase my stresses on that?
No, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not planning on getting it to 5, so I probably won't do that right now. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Fuck.
I guess it's 0.
You also
1,
get
2,
your
3, 4.
you also get like your maximum like number of bubbles, I think, at 3 and 4, and you just get an extra consequence at 5. But I might be wrong about that.
We'll double check that, but we can double check that off stream.
Anyway,
Yep.
correct.
Thank you so much for everybody who is still watching and has joined us over the course of this legal adventure. That is in no way an accurate representation of legal proceedings. Do not
In
use
no way
this as any frame of reference.
No. No.
But thanks so much for sticking with us. If you haven't yet followed, please do follow the stream. We obviously have this about 2 hours every Sunday night. We do also have 5th edition D&D streams, typically campaigns Friday and Saturday night. The Saturday one's been off for a little bit for some one-shots.
But it'll be back this next week.
Yes, it will be back this coming week. And we don't have intermission music for this one because it is a shorter session. But for those longer sessions, we do have an intermission, and we will, once we hit 50 followers, get new intermission music. So that's just kind of a little bonus
Incentive.
for everybody. Yep. So thanks again for checking us out. We really appreciate it. And everybody have a lovely night.
Bye.
Bye, y'all. Have a good night.